Student performance on state standardized tests should not be used to evaluate teacher performance. Many other factors come into play and influence how students might perform on state assessments. Therefore, using student test results to rate a teacher's professional performance is unfair. The obsession with student performance on achievement tests forces teachers to unnecessarily make test preparation the aim and focus of teaching, which dilutes creative, innovative, and rich learning experiences in the classroom. Instead, a teacher's professional performance should be evaluated using instruments that are constructed around effective teaching behaviors that have been determined through past research of effective teaching. The aim of teacher professional performance evaluation should not be to weed out bad teachers. Instead, the focus of teacher assessment should be to support teachers in professional improvement by helping teachers focus on the effective teacher behaviors that can be improved upon in order to improve professional teaching practice. Many other factors influence student performance on test scores. Ravitch reports that social scientists usually agree that a student's family and family income have a larger impact on student performance than a school or teachers. In his article, Teaching Effectiveness and Why It Matters, Dr. Robert A. Berry writes that although the gauge for teacher effectiveness is student learning, it's unrealistic not to consider the number of other variables that impact the amount of learning that occurs for any given child in the course of a school year. Ravitch discusses statements made by the American Education Research Association and the National Academy of Education concerning the number of other factors that influence student performance on assessment tests. These factors include school factors such as class size, curriculum materials, instructional time, availability of specialists and tutors, and resources for learning, home and community supports or challenges, individual student needs and abilities, health and attendance, peer culture and achievement, prior teaching and schooling, differential learning loss, the specific tests used, which emphasize some kinds of learning and not others. It's therefore careless, callous, hasty, and unfair to judge teacher performance using student results on standardized assessment tests with so many other factors influence student test performance. The obsession with student performance on achievement tests forces teachers to unnecessarily make test preparation the aim and focus of teaching, which dilutes creative, innovative, and rich learning experiences in the classroom. As Ravitch writes, when the tests become more important than instruction, something fundamental is amiss in our thinking. She maintains that as the current national obsession with testing intensifies, we can expect to see more testing, more narrowing of the curriculum, more narrowing of instruction to only what is tested, more cheating, and less attention to teaching students to think, to discuss, to consider different ways to solve problems and be creative. Every parent wants an effective teacher for their child. When describing an effective teacher as high test scores on standardized assessment tests, the teacher quality that first comes to mind, what qualities and behaviors describe an effective teacher? Berry maintains that these qualities involve a deep understanding of subject matter, learning theory and student differences, planning, classroom instructional strategies, knowing individual students, and assessment of student understanding and proficiency with learning outcomes. He states that effective teachers reflect on their teaching practice, collaborate with colleagues, and continue ongoing professional development. Ravitch states that if the purpose of teacher evaluation is to support teachers at improving, then using test results to rate teachers does not work. If we want effective teachers in every classroom of the country, then teacher behaviors that support student learning should be the core of teacher evaluation instruments. After reflecting on the research-based teacher behaviors that describe effective teacher behavior, it does not seem logical that we have allowed corporate reformers and the federal government to dictate standardized test performance as a means for deciphering a good teacher from a bad teacher. In fact, there's no need to weed out bad teachers. We should support teachers in professional development and improvement. Ravitch reports that nations like Finland, Canada, Japan, and South Korea did not land at the top firing teachers whose students earned low test scores. Instead, these countries invested time and resources to support and develop effective teachers. Perhaps it's time to move our focus and resources away from teacher accountability by test results and instead build teacher performance measures that have research-based effective teacher behaviors at their core, so that every teacher has the opportunity to improve the professional practice of teaching.